have to begin this video by saying don't expect anything amazing. As weird as that sounds, this was my first time doing any sort of retopo. So I had already created a retopo to begin with, and then I had to scrap it. So there are many instances where there are lapses in the time lapse, literally, because I just got frustrated and I was like, this is not fun. So I just needed to focus on the retopo and not worry too much about the recording and apply that onto the high poly Carno. I was running into a lot of issues, primarily because a lot of the vertices, like the vertex count, wasn't matching up, especially when I got up to the spikes. The Carnotaurus, for some reason, I decided, you know what, the spikes shouldn't be all symmetrical. Nothing in life is 100% symmetrical. So I kind of shot myself in the foot, literally, because then I had to manually go through and change each one out individually. So I might have a spike on, the right side of the Carno that's not present on the left side. So that was a big no-no. And I won't be doing that in future. From now on, everything is going to be as symmetrical as possible, especially when it comes to any sort of extrusions or whatever the case may be. And hopefully that won't happen again. Another thing, the inside of the mouth. I'm not there yet, but when I get there, it was a big pain in the butt. I think next time I'm actually going to make the mouth of any sort of dinosaur or whatever it is I work on a separate object. I've seen this done before, and I think that would have been way easier to separate. And I guess no, at this point I couldn't because it was the high poly that I was retopoing. But anyway, the mouth, separate object, because I could not get in there between each of the gums and create the necessary faces. That was also a big pain in the butt. And I apologize if I just sound really frustrated because it's been a while since I worked on this, but I just remember the amount of frustration that I went through for it. Oh, and just a fun side note, when I was recording my previous two voiceovers, I rendered this out in Premiere Pro, and I was like, why is it going to take 40 hours to render out? And it's because I literally had like 28 hours of footage that I forgot to speed up. So that was just a fun little fact. It was a long process to do this. My thought process with the spikes was to keep the same amount of vertices around each spike. So if they had a vertex count of 8 in a circle, that was going to be for each one. And I initially, when I did my first retopo, had maybe 8. So when it came to actually combining everything, it was really difficult. And that's when things started to get a little tricky. And another reason as to why I had to pull the plug on that retopo and go ahead and start over. I don't know if you'll see it in this video or if that was in the previous build I was working on, but I did use polybuild. I believe that's what it's called. It's the Retopo tool that is shipped with Blender.
Yep.
I don't know if I liked it. I did give it an honest go. I found it easier just to work with snapping, like face snapping and all that fun stuff. So I don't really think it sped my workflow up at all, but I will have to try it again at some point. And I have used Retopo Flow in the past. I just, at this point, didn't have the patience to learn a new tool. I just wanted to get this done because I honestly didn't know that I was going to have to do some retopology until it was too late and I had already sculpted those spikes in when I really should have modeled them in the first place. But it is what it is. Right. So as I mentioned in the beginning, I tried to make spikes be a little asymmetrical, and this caused issues when I was trying to work with a mirror modifier. So that was a whole nother, I don't know, 6, 8 hours of just trying to fix the center line. So as I mentioned in the beginning, if you made it this far, by the way, thank you. But I pulled the plug on recording just because I really needed to just focus on finishing the retopo, and I was doing a lot of back and forth. So I'll show you what it looks like inside of Blender as soon as this is done. Right, so here is the Carnotaurus with the retopo applied to it, and I do believe I added a level of subdivision just to smooth everything out. Um, I'm kind of kicking myself. I know it sounds like I'm being a little abusive to myself, so you'll have to ignore my words. But these spikes are a little bit too sharp for me, but maybe at a distance you don't really notice, but there are some points that I would have liked to have adjusted a little bit better. Don't mind the eyeballs, they're just hanging out. But yeah, here is what it looks like kind of all finished up. Obviously, there's some areas that are a little bit more dense that I probably could run through and, dissolve, but yeah, it's just more work than it's worth for me at this point. Just live and learn. But it came out okay. I'm not super bummed, and it's actually baking out all right, so I'll show you that. Right, so you'll have to ignore this kind of strange pose. I'll turn off overlays. But this is what it looks like with the baked, information from the low to high. I have the teeth hiding because they're being super strange and shooting off into space. So don't worry about that. But actually, I could probably enable that because I'm in pose mode right now. But anyway, this is the little Carno guy, and the HDRI is making everything a little bit washed out. So there's a few areas that I can go in with Photoshop. You can see there's some artifacting here, and I can get the clone stamp tool and just kind of stamp that out. But otherwise, this is it. And I'm hoping to get Substance Painter so that way I can actually finally texture my dinosaurs. I had Substance Painter for a while, but I kind of ended my subscription with them. I tried out Quixel Mixer, but they, for some reason, don't have an X symmetry tool. I don't know. If someone knows of Quixel Mixer and is familiar, let me know if they have X symmetry, because I cannot be bothered painting both sides. But anyway, this is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So don't do what I did and learn from my mistakes, please. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.